This conference will now be recorded.
So in the last session, we have discussed about the page block table, and we have used the page block table to represent the records in the tabular format by collecting the data from the database with the help of SQL queries, and how to add the columns inside the page block table. How can we represent the data in the tabular format we have discussed, and along with that, how can we represent a column data in the form of a hyperlink by using the output link tag. How can we use that output link tag, and what are the various properties are available we have discussed in the last session. Okay, now today we'll see a few more examples on this one, few more use cases where I would like to represent some records on my page in the tabular format. So yesterday I have collected all the records from my object. It may be lead, it may be account, it may be any object also. We have collected all the records from the object by using an SQL query. Those records I have placed inside the collection, and that collection I have binded to my page block table. But now I don't want all. I want only a few records. So based on some conditions, I want to add some filters to my query. That filter condition value I would like to pass at runtime. Okay, that filter condition value I would like to pass to my SQL query at runtime. That means, for example, I would like to have a visual first page. On that visual first page, I would like to have a text box. Like for example, so let me take a small use case. For example, I want a user interface like this. I would like to have a visual first page. I would like to have a visual first page with the name search accounts page. Okay, I would like to have a visual first page with the name search accounts page. So in this page, I would like to have the search functionality. I would like to introduce the search functionality where I would like to have a small text box to be used to enter some characters. Okay, account record name characters. For example, I'm entering some characters like as some test. After entering some characters inside my text box, as soon as once you click on that search accounts button, immediately it has to pass these characters to my SQL query. SQL query has to collect the records based on the specified characters by comparing with that account record name. That means what? Whatever the account records are available, whose name is starting with the character some test, those account records I would like to collect, those records I want to represent inside my table. I don't want all the records. I want only those records whose name is starting with the character some test. For example, I'm entering the characters like some apex. At that time, whatever the records are available, whatever the account records are available, whose name is starting with the character some apex, those records I want to display inside my page block table. If I'm passing some character some p, a single character also, upon passing this character, so whatever the account records are available whose name is starting with the character some p, those records I would like to display inside my page block table, and that name should be visible in the form of a hyperlink here. This is my requirement. Previously what I did, I have collected all the records from my object I'm representing in the tabular format, but now I don't want all. I want some specific records which are matching with the specified criteria. Whatever the input value we have supplied, based on that input value, I would like to add some user defined conditions. Based on the conditions, I would like to query the records from the object. Those records I want to represent on my Visual Force page in the tabular format by using page block table. Okay. Now tell me how can we implement this kind of requirements? Tell me your approach. Okay. I'm designing this page now. Page is ready. Next. Okay. Define a class. Okay. Hmm. 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 Then what needs to be done? I would like to write that business logic. How? By using a class. Now tell me, do we have any standard controller is available, or can we go for custom controller? Custom controller. Now tell me, how can we implement that custom controller now? I'm preparing a class. Public class, search accounts, controller. Now tell me your steps first. Then we'll see how to implement each and every step also. Define a variable. Why the variable? Okay. That means what? I'm not collecting all the records. I'm collecting only those account records whose name is starting with the characters which I have entered inside my text box. So whenever if you want to get some records based on some characters, then what are the characters I have entered inside my text box, these values I need to pass to my Apex class. So now this value is in the form of what? It is a normal string value. So I'm defining one string variable here. I'm defining a string variable like as some search a text. I'm making it as get and set. Why? Because this variable I would like to map with this text box. How to map this variable with this text box? Get and set. Okay, fine. And then how can we inform to the Visual Force page whatever the value I'm entering inside my text box, please store this value inside my variable. How can we specify? Value property. Okay, we are using that value property. Inside this input text box, we are going to be using the value property. In this value property, we are going to be indicating the name of the variable in which that input value should be get resides. Okay, clear? Now, next one. After that, once the data is available, for example, I'm entering some character, some P, that character is available inside my variable now. Then after that, what we can do? Okay, we need to prepare a method, because once the user has entered the characters, then he will click on that search accounts button. Upon click on this search accounts button, I would like to initiate that fetching mechanism. Till that time, I don't want to initiate any searching mechanism. After entering the characters, when the user click on search accounts, then only I would like to display, I would like to initiate that searching mechanism. For that one, I'm preparing a method, public void search accounts. Now tell me what we can do. SYSL or SOQL? SOQL. Okay. No need to use that SYSL. We can go with that SOQL query itself. Tell me what we can do. You know, same code, no change. List the collection. Okay. Okay. We can store. I'm taking up a list collection, because definitely this query will return some records. How many records it will return, I don't know. It may be 0, 1, 2, 10,000, whatever, I don't know. So I'm using a list collection. Public list of account. LST accounts. Get and set. Because I want to show those records in my Visual Force page in the table or format. For that one, I'm defining this collection with the get and set accessors. Next. Directly, can I go with this one? Okay. New list of account. Okay. Next. Then directly will you query? Suppose, for example, come to a scenario. This is my user interface. Okay, this is my user interface. User did not enter anything inside the text box. Simply has click on that search accounts. Will you search? No. Then what we can do? If condition. Yeah, tell me now. If search a text. Okay. Such a text variable not equals to null and such a text variable not equals to empty. Okay, now next. Then what we can do? Such a text plus equals to, I'm using percentage symbol because I would like to get the similar kind of records, matching records I would like to fetch. Now tell me. Okay, now query the records here. LST accounts equals to make a query. Select the ID of the account record, name of the account record, and what are the columns we can able to fetch from account. Then next, where name like such a text. Now I'm preparing that variable string such a text. I'm preparing the method set accounts. Now I would like to specify if such a text not equals to null and such a text not equals to empty. Then I would like to display, I would like to add such a text plus equals to percentage, because whenever if you want to fetch the data based on some starting characters, then we have to use that the percentage symbol. That means whatever the account records are available whose name is starting with the characters which are available inside the such a text, then please collect those records. Because here I would like to use that like operator, only the matching records I would like to fetch now. I would like to fetch this information. I'm preparing that collection. Public list of account, LST accounts, get and set. I'm creating the object of this class. LST accounts equals to new list of account. LST accounts equals to, I'm fetching the data by using the SOCable query. Select ID, name, rating, and industry, annual revenue, phone, fax. These are the columns information I would like to fetch from account. So what is the condition we need to add? Where name like such a text. Okay, where name like such a text. I'm going to be adding this condition. Okay, I'm adding this condition. So now here in this case, so what we did in this case, I'm going to be collecting the data. What are the characters the user has entered inside my text box? These characters I'm storing inside my variable. That means what are the conditions you would like to apply? Those conditions we need to write inside the query itself. So that to prepare that condition, we need that value. But the user has entered the value inside my text box. So I need to pass this value to my Apex class. For that one, I'm defining a variable with the name such a text. Now this variable I have mapped with the text box. So whatever the value we have entered inside my text box, this value will be storing inside the variable. From there, we can able to initiate that searching mechanism by adding the required conditions. Now these standards are same. Now tell me, this business logic is new for you? No, because so many places we have used the same business logic, nothing different. But now what we did additionally, simply here we are going to be displaying this data on my Visual Force page. That's it. Previously, we have supplied this input value through a parameter, okay, to that procedure. But now we are passing through user interface. That's it. Okay, we can able to use that user interface, enter the value inside that, and that value we can pass to the variable. From there, we can able to initiate the searching mechanism. That result we can able to represent on your result first page itself. Okay, clear? Now tell me, is this business logic is difficult or easy? Difficult. In so many use cases, we have implemented the same thing right during the SQL queries concept. Okay. Now, so now in this case, simple business logic, nothing else. Just you have to design the user interface and then pass the value to that Apex class. So that just to define a variable, because to store this input value, we need a variable. Define the variable inside that, map the connection between these two. Okay. So that here upon defining this text box, I'm indicating this. Apex input text label equals to, I'm indicating enter search text. What is the property now? Value property. Value equals to what? Variable name. What is that variable name? Search text. That's it. There is one additional thing that we are doing inside this. Okay. So now define the text box. Upon defining the text box, please indicate what are the value that have entered inside my text box, in which variable this value has to be get resides. Indicate that variable name. But before using that variable, define the variable first inside the controller class and make that variable can be accessible from my Visual Force page also. For that one, I'm defining this variable with get and set accessors. Okay, clear? Understood this concept here? Any questions still? Any doubts or any questions or any confusions? Let me know. No questions? Okay. Now let's see the practical part. So let's go with this practical part now. I'm designing a page with the name search accounts page. So with this name, there is no page has been designed as of now. So it is giving this error message to you, page search accounts page does not exist. Okay. Now I want to create this page. So click on this link. Now a new page will be created for you with the specified name. I'm removing the default code which has been given by Salesforce. Now I'm adding my own properties. I don't want that sidebar. Show header equals to true. Tab style equals to customer object tab style I want. I'm applying this tab style. Next one. I'm indicating that section header. Title equals to accounts. Subtitle equals to search accounts. I'm giving the title and the subtitle. Next. What is the next tag? Form tag, right. Next. Apex page block. I'm giving the title property search accounts block. Okay. I'm giving that page block here inside this. Inside this page block, I'm preparing a section. Apex page block section. For this page block section, I'm giving the title. Title equals to simply search accounts. Number of columns to display the fields is 2, and the collapsible option, I want that. I don't want the collapsible option. I'm indicating as false. So now here I have added a page block section inside my page block. Now inside this page block section, I would like to represent that two controls. One is, the first one is a text box control, second one is the button control. These are the two controls I would like to place. Now here I'm using that. How can you place the text box? input text. Okay, input text. Whenever I'm placing simply input text, it is providing one normal text box to you. Next, what is the next properties? Label property. Label equals to enter such a text. Next, I would like to specify the HTML placeholder. Now, I place the text box here. Next, I'm placing the button control, apex, command button value equals to search accounts. Okay, I'm placing the button controls, okay, with the name search accounts. Now my button control is also available here. Next, what is the next thing we need to define now? What is the next one? Controller, right? So now go with that controller part. I'm using the page tag. I'm preparing a controller. I'm giving the controller name as search accounts controller, right? Now what we can do? Click on that link to create that record, to create that class. Now the class has been defined right now. Class has been prepared here. Now my class is available. Now what we can do next? Variable. Now as a step one, whenever I'm going to be searching for the record, first of all, we need some input. So whatever the input values that have entered inside my text box, these values I need to collect into my Apex class. So based on these characters, I can set some records from my database by using SQL query. For that one here, we need one text, we need a variable which can able to store this input value. Whatever the input value I have entered inside my text box, I need to store this input value inside my variable. For that one, I'm defining a variable here. Public string search text. I'm making this variable as get and set. Why? Because in this variable, the value will be coming from Visual Force. So now how the value will be coming into the Visual Force? So because here this variable I'm mapping with my text box control. So that go to the text box control. This is my text box that we have. Here I would like to specify the property. What is the property now? Value property. Value equals to specify the variable name. Okay, specify the variable name. That means here, whatever the value that I'm entering inside my text box, please store that value inside this variable search text. Search text is a variable which I'm having inside the controller class called as search accounts controller. Inside this controller class, I'm having a variable with the name search text. Please store the input text value inside my variable. Now the value will be storing inside this variable. Once the value is available inside the variable, now I would like to search for the information. So now I'm preparing the method. Public void search accounts. Okay, public void search accounts. Now I would like to verify the condition, whether the user has entered some values or not. Sometimes user may be doing some mistakes also. Without entering anything inside the text box, simply he may be clicking on search accounts also. At that time, I don't want to search any data. I don't want to waste my SQL query. For that one, I'm verifying. That means whether this search text variable is having the input value or not. I would like to verify. I'm verifying this one. If search text not equals to null and search text not equals to empty. That means if the search text variable is not empty, that means text box is not empty, then I would like to initiate the searching mechanism. Now, in order to search this information, I would like to define a collection, because here the query will be returning some records in the form of a collection. So that too, it is a list collection, list of account. I'm defining a listed collection of account which can able to store all the account records which has been written by the SQL query as a result. So whatever the matching records are available, all those matching records will be storing inside my collection LST accounts. So now here I'm defining the collection object. LST accounts equals to new list of account. I'm creating the object of this collection. Now what we can do? search text. That means here, upon using that like operator, we have to add percentage symbol. That means we can get the similar kind of information. Now search text plus equals to, I'm adding that percentage symbol. That means whatever the records are available, whose name is starting with these characters, please fetch all those records. Not exact condition, I'm using that like operator. That means similar kind of records. Now I'm fetching this information. LST accounts equals to, select the data. Select the ID value, name, rating, industry, annual revenue, active status, phone, fax, website, type, ownership, from account. Then where, based on what column you are applying the condition? Name column. Name, like, search text. Okay, where name like we are using colon. Colon is for what? Dynamic assignment. Dynamically at runtime, what are the values available inside the search text box? Please place this variable value in this location to match with that condition based on the name column here. Okay, now I'm saving that business logic here. Business logic has been saved successfully. There is no issues here. Now business logic is over, nothing. Previously, when you go to that normal Apex programming, after writing this business logic here, we are writing the code to iterate the collection to display the records one by using system.debug. But here we no need to write that part of code because we are not showing anything on the debug log file. We are representing everything on that Visualforce page. So now we need to go to that Visualforce page part here. Okay. Now, so now I want to show what all the records are available, okay, which has been returned as a result from the SQL query. I want to show inside a separated table. Okay, I would like to represent a table here. For that one, I'm using a separate page block. I'm using another page block. I'm giving the title as search results. I want to show that records count also here. I'm representing another page block. In this page block, I want to show how many number of records has been returned as a result, and then those records I want to show in the tabular format. For that one, I'm using a separate page block. Now, inside the page block, I would like to represent the records by using that page block table. Okay, page block table. Now tell me the code. How can we write this one? Now it's your turn. Tell me. Page block table. Value, okay. Value property equals to collection name. Okay, LST accounts. Next. var equals to some ACC. Next. Then what we can do? Apex column, right. Apex column. Value equals to ACC dot name. Next. First to represent the record, then we'll see how to make that column like as hyperlink here. Okay. Apex column value equals to ACC dot rating. So whatever the order you want, you can specify that columns information. Apex column value equals to ACC dot industry. Apex column value equals to ACC dot annual revenue. Apex column value equals to ACC dot phone. Apex column value equals to ACC dot fax. Apex column value equals to ACC dot active status. These are the columns information I am going to be representing inside my tabular format here. Okay, these are the columns information I'm representing inside my tabular format. So now along with that, I would like to represent that number of records count also. How can we display the number of records count? LST accounts that size. That means to get the size of these records, nothing but size of that collection, I'm using that size method. Okay, clear up to this part? We are done with that user interface part, business logic part. Now we need to map the connections now. Now when you want to call this method, click on that button control. Then how can we invoke this method? Go to that button control and then use that property called as action property. Action equals to specify that method name. I would like to call the method search accounts. Okay. Now anything else? Hyperlink we'll see. Up to this part for the basic searching mechanism. So first of all, let me execute this functionality. Once the result is coming, then we'll do the required makeup for this one. Okay, making that column like as hyperlink, all these things we'll see. Now, so as of now, what we did, so now first of all, we have placed one text box onto our user interface to be used to give the input to my application at runtime. The user will enter some characters. After that, I'm invoking a command that is called as search accounts button. As soon as once you click on that button control, it will be calling that search accounts method, which will be collecting that search text value from the text box. And based on that value, it is executing the SQL query. It will get the required records information. The matching records has been collected. Those will be storing inside that collection. Once the data is available inside the collection, now I want to show those records in the user interface in the Visualforce page by using page block table. To access this collection data from the Visualforce page, I'm making this collection with a get and set accessor. So now I'm collecting that collection from a user interface by using the page block table, and then I'm representing each and every field value by adding a separate column with the help of that column tag here. Okay, clear? Now let me search for some information. For example, I would like to search for the data. I'm searching for some characters, some UN. Now click on search accounts button. Now it is searching for the data. So now with this particular character UN, we are having 4 matching records are available here. Now results, search results count is 4. Now we are able to see those 4 records. That is University of Arizona, and then United Island Gas Corporation, United Island Gas UK, United Island Gas Singapore. These are the 4 records are available, which are having the account record name starting with the character some UN. Now, for example, I'm entering the character some B. Upon click on the search accounts, it is representing the records to me over here. Only those records whose name is starting with the character some B, those records you can able to see. Okay. Now only one record is available here. Now here what we have observed in this case, for example, I'm entering the character some P. When you click on the search accounts, the whole page is getting refreshed, right? Then in this case, what we can do, I don't want to refresh the whole page. I want to refresh only that search results part. How can we do that? Re-render. Now tell me, how can we do this one now? Okay, go to that search results page block here. Then what we can do? ID property. I'm indicating like some PG block. That means this is a page block over here. Okay, this is a page block. For that one, I'm giving that reference name as PG block. You can give anything, whatever you want. Now, how can we refresh only this particular part? Go to that button control. After the action, what we need to specify? Re-render property. That means re-display. That means refresh that component. Which component? PG block. Nothing but whatever the component which is having that ID, that is PG block. Please refresh only this component. Don't refresh the whole page. Please refresh only this particular part here. So now this PG block is that reference name that I have given. You can give any name, ABC, XYZ, whatever you want, we can provide, no problem. So in this case, this is the page block, nothing but search results. This is the page block which I would like to refresh. I don't want to refresh the whole page. I want to refresh only this particular part. Now, let's save this code. Now search for the information. I'm passing some characters, some UN. Click on search accounts. Now tell me the page has refreshed or only that part here? Only that part. I'm indicating like some B. Now click on search results. Only that particular part will be getting refreshed. I'm indicating like some P. Only those part over here. It will be refreshing that part. I'm indicating like some P. search accounts. No records are available over here. And then I'm giving like some R, search accounts. No records are available here. I'm giving the value like some C, search accounts. No records are available here. I'm having the records information like I'm indicating some test. No matching records are available. Now let me verify what are those records available here. Edge. I'm indicating some E. With the character E, we are having two records are available. Express logistics and transport, and then edge communications. I'm using like as some G. Search accounts. Two records are available. Grand Hotels and Resorts, and then Genie Point. Like that, here we can able to search for the information based on the input value entered by the user inside this. Okay, clear? Depends upon the requirement, you can able to implement your own searching mechanism also. So now no need to hard code those values. We can able to supply the value at runtime. Depends upon the input values which the user has entered. We can able to collect that information, and then based on that input, we can able to search for the content by using that button controls. Okay, clear? Any questions as of now? Fine up to this one. Now tell me the next one. So what is the next thing that we need to do? I need to make this column name as hyperlink. Now tell me how can we do this one? Output link, where we can do this one? Name column. I would like to represent. For that one, I would like to use the column tag separately. I'm using Apex column. Inside this column tag, I would like to use what we need to use now? Output link tag. I'm adding one column. Inside this column, I want to use output link tag. Output link. Here I want to show the account record name. ACC dot name. Whatever the account record name is available, this account record name I want to represent in the form of a hyperlink. I want to show that account record name in the form of a hyperlink. For that one, I have added a column by using that column tag. For this column, I am giving that column name. Header value equals to account name. Okay. So now in this case here, I am going to be representing a new column inside my page block table. So now for this column, I am giving that column name as account name, and then I am going to be displaying that account record name inside that column in the form of a hyperlink. So as soon as when the user click on this particular name, as soon as when the user click on this particular account record name, then what we can do? I would like to redirect the user to that detail page of the record. How can we use that one? Okay, target property. Target equals to underscore blank tag. Next. One more property. Value property. What we can specify? Slash ACC dot ID, because up to the base URL Salesforce will collect. After that, we have to specify a slash, and then we have to place that record ID over here. This account record ID is available inside my ACC variable because we are querying that account record ID also inside this. So ID will be available inside my ACC variable inside that ACC dot ID field. So I'm going to be displaying this information. That means what? As soon as when the user click on this account record name, I'm redirecting the user to the detail page based on the record ID, and the detail page has to be get visible inside a blank tab. Please open a separate tab inside my same browser, and then please represent that record inside that blank tab here. Okay. Now let's save this code. Now search for the information. I'm passing that UL. Now click on search accounts. Now the records are available to me over here. Whatever the records are available, whatever the matching records are available, those records will be getting visible to you inside this. Okay, matching records are getting visible. So now I would like to open this record University of Arizona. Simply click on this University of Arizona. We can able to see that record information also. We can see that all the respective details of this account record. We can see the account information and the contacts also, opportunities, and then cases, notes and attachments, approval steps, all these things we can see. Now, for example, I would like to click on that United Island Gas Singapore. So that record will be getting visible to me with the respective contacts and opportunities, all this information. For example, I'm searching for the content like some G. Now click on search accounts. These are the two records are available. Click on this Grand Hotels and Resorts Limited. We can able to see that record information also. Now, for example, I'm searching for the content like as some P. Click on search accounts. Only one record is available, Pyramid Construction Incorporation. Click on that link, the record will be getting visible to you. Like that, instead of collecting all the records from the object, we can search for the records based on that input values entered by the user at runtime, and those records we can able to open upon click on that hyperlink of that record name. Okay, clear? This is how we are going to be implementing that functionalities here. Okay, clear? Now, understood the concept now? Any questions still? So let me make a note of this use case. Design a Visual Force page to search for the account records based on the user input at runtime. You can specify. Represent the result records or result are matching records. Represent the result are matching records in the Visual Force page by in the table or format. In the table or format. Next one. Display the account name in the hyperlink format. Redirect the user to the detail page upon click on the account name. So this is the use case requirement here. Okay. Upon making the note, just to make a note of this user interface, because by looking into the user interface, we can understand what functionality we have implemented. By looking into this particular use case requirement, you can't understand some cases. Okay. Now, so now better to add this kind of user interface also, so that we can able to understand very easily. Now, so let me place this code. Okay. Done. Now, next one. I will give you a small use case now. You can try to write the code now. So let me explain the use case requirement. Now, so let's write the code for this use case requirement. So now let me explain the use case requirement. I'm having a lead object. In my lead object, I'm having so many lead records are available. I want to search for some lead records. Okay, I want to search for some lead records. For that one, I would like to use a user interface. I need a search functionality to search for the lead records. I'm indicating that page name as search lead records. Okay, search lead records page. So here, the user will enter some input values. Based on that input value, I would like to search for the content. Okay, I would like to search for the content. Now, so the user will be entering some input over here. Now, enter lead last name or email. Anyone, anything the user can enter. Now, I would like to search for the lead records information. I want to show that lead record name. First name, last name, status, company, annual revenue, and I want to show email enterprise. Okay. Now I want to search for some lead records information from my lead object based on the input values. But here the user can able to enter either the last name of the lead, that means some specific characters, or he may enter the email also. Based on any characters he can able to search. If the user has entered some normal characters, okay, if the user has entered some normal characters, that means if the user has entered some specific string, then I want to search for the records based on that last name column, based on the last name column with the like operator. Okay, suppose if the user has entered that input value in the form of an email ID, then I would like to search for the content based on the lead person's email ID column. Okay, email ID column. Which value the user will enter, I don't know. User may enter some characters, user may enter some email IDs also. If the user has entered some characters, that means string, then I want to search for the content based on that last name by using that like operator. Suppose if the user has entered completely an email ID, then I want to search for the content based on that email ID with exact matching. If it is a normal string, I want to use like operator, nothing but similar kind of information. If it is the email ID, I want that exact matching here. Now tell me, how can we implement this? Then how do you know? How do you know whether the user has entered the input in the form of a normal string or an email ID? Then how do you know is it a string or not? Format. How to do? How to know that format? Pattern matching. How can we use that pattern matching? What is that code? Then how do you know? How can we compare that format? What is that class we need to use to compare that whatever the input value the user has entered, how to compare that input values in the form of a specific email ID format or not? What is that class we need to use? Don't refer the notes. Don't refer the notes. What is that class name? No. Messaging is for email notifications. Pattern matching. Okay, then what is that class name? First word in that. In pattern matching, first word, what is that? Pattern class. Already we have discussed the pattern class. By using pattern class, we can able to compare whether a specific input value is in the form of a string or not, or email ID or not. We can able to verify. That possibility is available. Already we have discussed this concept during our SQL queries concept also. Okay, during the SQL queries already we have discussed about that pattern matching algorithm also. Okay, similarly we can able to use that same code here also. Okay, similarly here we can able to use that same code. When you go to the SQL query, already we have discussed that. Now already we have used this pattern matching algorithm. Then here what kind of SQL queries we need to use now? Static or dynamic? Dynamic SQL query. Why dynamic? Why not static? Okay, that means user will be giving the input at runtime. That means what he will enter, will he be entering that some characters or email ID? We don't know. At that time, how can we decide on what column we need to apply the condition? For that one, at runtime I will decide. Okay, at runtime I will decide whether we can apply the condition based on last name or based on email ID. If the user is input is in the form of a normal string, I will apply the condition based on the last name column. If the user input is in the form of a email ID, I would like to apply the condition based on that email ID column. So based on that input value, we will decide at runtime. So we are going to be using that dynamic SQL query concept. Okay, clear? Now, so will you try this example today, or will you write now? Okay. Okay, nothing different. Okay, just you can able to make this. Okay, make this variable outside, and then pass the value. That means map this variable with the text box, and then invoke this method. That's it. Done. Nothing else. Okay. So whatever the records that we are collecting over here, we can remove this part of code, display this collection inside your Visualforce page. Okay. Same piece of code, no change. Okay. Will you try this one today? Okay. Now, make a note of this use case. Design a Visualforce page to search for the lead records, based on the input values entered by the user at runtime. Okay. Now, make a note. User can search for the content or search for the leads based on either last name or email ID. Now inside this one, first requirement. If the user entered a string value as input, then search for the records based on the lead last name, and represent the similar kind of record. Represent the similar kind of records in the Visualforce page in table or format. If the user input is an email ID, then search for the lead records based on the email ID and represent the record in the VF page. Represent the lead name, that means first name and the last name. Combination of first name and the last name in the form of a hyperlink. Redirect the user to the detail page of the lead upon click on the hyperlink. Upon click on the hyperlink, redirect the user to the detail page of the lead record. Second assignment. You know SOSL, right? How to search for the data in the multiple objects also. Okay. Done with this first use case? No. Second one. So let me explain the use case requirement. For example, I would like to search for some content. I would like to search for some content. For that one, I would like to design a Visualforce page. But here, I'm not only searching for the content in one object, I would like to search for the content in multiple objects. Okay, by using SOSL queries. With the help of SOSL queries, I would like to search for the content in the multiple objects in Salesforce. Now, here in this case, I'm indicating this. So I'm indicating to the user can enter some search text. Enter search text. The user may be entering any search text, whatever, ABC, XYZ, whatever, anything. So with this one, whatever the matching records are available, I would like to search for those matching records. So whatever the matching account records are available, I want to show those matching records, okay, matching account records inside my tabular format. Okay, in my tabular format, I want to represent the matching records here. Here I want to show that result. Matching accounts. I want to indicate that count value here. Okay, I want that count value. Okay, like the similar way. So now, in this case, whatever the input characters you have entered, based on that input characters, not only searching the records inside my account object, I want to search the records in the contact also. I'm searching inside the contact object also now. I want to represent the matching contact first name and the last name and the title and the email ID, phone number and the fax number. I want to indicate the first name of that contact person, last name, and the title, email ID, contact number, that means phone number. Fax number. I want to represent the matching contacts. Like the similar way, I want to represent the matching leads also. I want that matching lead records. I want that matching lead records also. The lead records count I want, and I want to represent the first name of the lead, last name, title, email ID, phone number, and the fax number. And then I want to search for the record inside my position object also. Are matching candidates. Candidate name, location of the candidate, and the expected CTC, notice period, and then phone number and the fax number. Matching candidates. I want to indicate the candidate name and the location of the candidate. I want to indicate the current CTC or some expected CTC. Notice period, email ID, and the phone number. Okay, so these are the columns information I would like to search. That means what? As soon as when the user has entered some characters, based on that characters, I would like to search for the records. I'm indicating like a search records. As soon as when the user click on the search records, I want to represent this information. I want to search for the content, okay, based on my requirement. What are the characters the user has entered? With that characters, what are the matching accounts are available? I want to represent over here. Matching contacts I want to represent over here. Matching leads I want to represent over here. Matching candidates I want to represent over here. This is my requirement. Purely what kind of SYSL? Static or dynamic? Dynamic SYSL here. Because we are passing the value at runtime. You know how to implement static SYSL, how to implement dynamic SYSL. You know this functionality here. Okay. Try these two requirements here today. Okay. So let me make a note of this one. Done. Now make a note of this use case. Design a Visual Force page for the global search. Global search. Search the records based on the input values entered by the user. Search the matching records inside the account, contact, lead, and candidate objects, and represent the matching records in the Visual Force page in tabular format. These are the two use cases. Everybody has to complete at least one by tomorrow. Okay. Done with this? Done with this use case? Now let's see the most important feature as part of interview, as part of implementation also, view state. It's 100% common question in every interview. It's 100% common problem every developer will face in our implementation part. Okay. Now, then what exactly the view state? What is the use? What it contains? Where it will get resides? How to see the view state content? How much size of content can be accommodatable inside that view state? If the content size is exceeding that view state size, then what kind of exceptions will get arise? How can we handle this kind of view state exceptions? How to track the view state data in Salesforce? What are the various best practices we need to follow to avoid this kind of view state exceptions? Now let's see practically today. Okay. Now, so first of all, we have to understand what exactly the concept of view state. Okay, why these view state exceptions will be getting arised, what it contains, where it will get resides, we'll see practically now. Now, so let me explain a small requirement. So let me check for your document. For example, so let me explain a small requirement. Assume that I'm done with my education. It may be graduation or post-graduation. So now once you are done with the graduation or post-graduation, we are applying for a job. Whenever we are going to be applying for a job, initially, first of all, we have to be ready with our profile. We should be ready with a profile in the professional format. We have to prepare our resume by including all our strengths, our education details and technical details, project experience or past experience, whatever the information that we have, the whole information we can able to highlight inside our profile. Once the profile is ready with you, then we need to make our profile to be get visible to the various companies. I want to make my profile to be get visible to the various organizations. So at that time, no need to share my profile to each and every company by visiting those companies manually. No need to send the profile through email notification. Just we can able to place that profile inside a common place. Inside a collaboration portal, we can upload that profile. That collaboration portals are nothing but our job portals. Okay. Inside that job portals, we can able to upload our profile here. So we are using the job portals. So many job portals are available to you, where we are having like as Naukri.com, we are having Monster, we are having Freshers World, Job Street, like that various job portals are available here. Okay. So we are using the job portals, not the job websites. Website is different, portal is different. Both are different concepts. Okay. Now, in this case, we can go to the job portal. Inside that job portal, we are going to be uploading the profile. Whenever you are uploading the profile into the job portals, the first of all, we should be the registered member. That means we need to create our own account in order to upload our profile, our education details, our past experience details, contact details, everything. So we need to click on that sign up form. You will be having an option called a sign up option. Click on that sign up. It is providing a small user interface to you. It is providing a user interface to you. So inside this user interface, we have to enter all our details. So initially, the first form will be getting loaded for you over here. The first form will be loaded for you. In this form, we need to enter our personal details. That means what? Your first name, last name, email ID, title, contact number, date of birth, all this information we have to enter, some basic information. With which name you want to create the user account, and then what will be the password, the whole information we have to enter. So, but this is not only form to create that Naukri account. We are having so many other forms are available which we need to fill up. We need to enter so many other details also. So after entering the details inside my personal details form, which is the first form which has been loaded upon click on that sign up link. Upon click on that sign up link, it is opening this personal details form. We have to enter our personal details inside this form. After entering the details, once you click on that, the next button. So if there is no save button is available, you will be having the next button is available here, because this is not only the form to fill up the details. We have so many other forms are available where exactly we need to enter our details. So upon click on that next button, the user will be getting redirected to that next page. Okay, when I click on that next button, user will be redirecting to the next page. In this next page, it is asking you to provide your contact details information here. Okay, contact details. Here I'm entering all my contact details, like as my email ID, alternate email ID, contact number, alternate contact number, all this information I have entered, mailing address, everything. Once the details has been getting entered, once you click on the next button, one more form will be getting open. In this form, I'm going to be entering my education details here. We need to enter all our education details in the chronological order. That means highest graduation should be the first, and then after that we can enter the remaining previous one. We need to enter your education details in the chronological order. Once education details has been getting entered, as soon as once you click on that next button, it will ask you to enter your past experience details, like as what are the various companies you have worked in the previously. Okay, what are the past experience details, in which company you have worked on, what is the duration, what is that company name, company address, your roles and responsibilities. Okay, everything we need to enter inside this in the chronological order also. That means recently worked company should be first. and the previous company, and then previous company. Like that, we need to enter all the experience details inside that chronological order here. So after that, once you click on that submit button, automatically your account will be getting created. But in this case, okay, whenever I'm going to be creating my Naukri account, I have entered the details inside this form here. Now I need to about to click on that submit button. So before click on the submit button, first of all, I want to know, I would like to cross check whether I have entered all the details correctly or not. For that one, what happened? On my form, I'm having the submit button is there, back button is available here. When I click on the submit button, a new account will be getting created with the details whatever I have entered. But before click on the submit button, I want to cross check whether I have entered all the details correctly or not. So when I click on this back button, what will happen? It will redirecting me to the previous page over here. It is redirecting me to the previous page here. Now in this case, now tell me, whenever the previous page, that means education details form is getting loaded, will it be populating the details which are entered at the form will be loading freshly without any data? Will it populate your entire data? The data will be gone. Data will be populated. How? How it is populating the data here? When I click on that back button, okay, when I click on the back button, now the user will be coming back to the previous page. That means previous page will be getting loaded with the data which have entered previously. The data is not lost. Data is persisted somewhere. Okay, data is persisted somewhere. Where it is persisting this data here? Persisting means what? Saving. It is saving the data somewhere temporarily for some time. Where it will be storing that information here. That information is persisting inside an object called as view state. Okay, that will be persisting that information, okay, inside an object called as view state. What do you mean by view state? View state is nothing but an object. Okay, view state is nothing but a object. What it contains? It contains your form data. Form data means what? Inside my form, inside my text boxes, inside my check boxes, inside my text areas, inside my pick list controls, whatever the data that I have entered, the data will be persisting, nothing but saving, okay, for some time. Between what? Between post-back implementation. Post-back implementation means what? As soon as once you click on that back button, request will be going to the server. Server is going to be giving the response by loading the page education details form. That means previous form will be getting loaded. How? Directly it is not loading that. Once you click on the back button, request will be going to the Salesforce server. Salesforce server will identify the previous form. Previous form will be loading as a response to me. That means request is going to the server. We are getting the response. Now, whenever you are making a request, getting the response is called as post-back. Post-back means what? Posting a request to the server, getting the response back from the server. This is called as post-back implementation. Post-back implementation means what? Sending the request, reply. That means one request-reply combination is called as post-back implementation. Now, as soon as once you click on the back button, request will be going to the Salesforce server. Salesforce server is sending the response in the form of by loading the education details form. That means the previous form will be getting loaded over here. That means what in this case, as soon as that, when I click on that back button, post-back has been happened. Between the post-back implementation, my data has been persisted. Okay. What are the details that I have entered inside my education details form? The data is not yet lost. Data has been persisted somewhere. That is called as view state. Okay, that is called as view state. Okay. So now in this case, what exactly the view state? View state is nothing but an object which will hold your form data between the post-back implementation. Whenever we are redirecting from the first page to the next page and next page to the previous page, in between that your data should not be lost. If the data is lost, again the user has to enter the same data again and again and again. At that time, the people won't use our applications. We need to store the data. We need to persist the data somewhere temporarily for some time. So now to persist the data between the post-back implementations, Salesforce is using an object called as view state object. Then when this view state object will be getting decides, view state is nothing but an object which will be sitting behind your Visualforce page. Okay, behind your Visualforce page, inside the designing part code only. Okay, inside the designing part code only, behind your Visualforce page, this view state object will be getting sitting behind that as a sleeping partner. As a sleeping partner, it will be sitting behind that Visualforce page itself. It will not be visible to you. Okay, it will not be visible to you on the user interface, but behind the page, this view state object will be getting available. So then what it contains, it will be holding by farm data. Farm data in the sense what? When coming to the Visual Force page, that already I told you, each and every Visual Force page contains two parts are available. Front end part is available, back end part is available. Back end part means what? My controller class. In my controller class, what we are defining? We are defining some variables. We are defining some collections. We are defining some objects also. So whatever the data that we are entered inside my farm, inside my text boxes, for that Visual Force page, whatever the controller class is available, in that controller class, whatever the variables, whatever the collections, whatever the object you have defined, all this information will be storing inside the view state automatically. View state will be storing all your farm data, your controller class variables, controller class collections, and the objects information, all will be placing inside that view state here. That view state will be sitting behind the object, behind that Visual Force page itself. That is not storing somewhere. That is not storing somewhere. That will be placing behind the Visual Force page itself. But it will not be visible to you on the user interface. Then how it is possible? Because your view state will be storing in the form of hidden fields. That will be storing in the form of hidden fields. Hidden field means what here? Which will be available on the page itself, but that will not be visible to you on the user interface. Okay, that will not be visible to you on the user interface. So that view state information will be storing in the form of hidden fields inside the Visual Force page. Inside your user interface code only, behind the page, it will be storing the view state, which will be holding all the information. Your farm data, your controller class variables, collections, objects, everything will be getting resides inside that view state only. That will be sitting behind the view state inside that Visual Force page itself. Okay, but that will not be visible to you. That will not be visible to you on the user interface. Okay, but behind that Visual Force page, it will be sitting behind that, which will be holding your farm data in order to persist the data between the post-back implementations. Whenever the user is going to moving from first page to next page, the next page to first page, at that time the data should not be lost. Data has to be get persisted somewhere else. For that one, it is going to be holding the data in the form of the view state object. Now in this case, do we have any chance to just see that view state? Yes, there is a possibility here. There is a possibility to see that view state information. For example, let me show you that. Now, for example, let me go with the Gmail application. So let me go with the Gmail application here. Whenever I'm going to the Gmail application, okay, whenever I'm going to the Gmail application, so now, as soon as after entering the username and the password, once I click on this login button, request will be sending to the Gmail server. It will be validating my credentials. It will be sending the response back over here. Okay, it will be sending the response back. Now that response will be holding the view state information also. Now in this case, how can we see that view state information? That means what? As soon as whenever I'm making a request to the server will be processing your request, your response will be getting generated, response will be preparing in the form of HTML. That HTML content is forwarding to you so that you can see the HTML content inside the browser here. Now, behind this page, that means here to load this page, what HTML content has been generated by the Gmail server, I want to see. For that one, just to go to this application, release the rightmost button. Okay, release the rightmost button. There is an option called as View Page Source. Okay, click on this option of View Page Source. Once you click on this View Page Source, we can see to design that page, nothing but to represent this particular content. Okay, what HTML content has been generated by the Gmail server. This is the content has been generated by the Gmail server. Okay, this is the HTML content has been generated by the Gmail server. Whenever I'm loading this Gmail HTML content, then we can see this user interface over here. Behind this user interface, this is the HTML content has been generated by the Gmail server. Now in this HTML content itself, it will be having the view state content is also available, but that will not be visible to you on the user interface. On this user interface, we can't see that, but the content will be there inside this HTML content itself. Now, how can we see this one? Let me copy this content here. So let me paste this content inside a notepad. So now that already told you View state content will be storing in the form of the hidden fields. Okay, view state content will be storing in the form of the hidden fields over here. Now that too here you can raise a question. Sir, if the view state content is storing behind the page, the people can go to the page, they can click on view page source, then they can go to the HTML content. In that one view state is available. The user can see the view state content. They can misutilize my data also. But here there is a chance. Okay, now it is going to be protecting your data. Okay, it is protecting your data. So whatever the data has been stored inside that view state data will not be visible in the actual format. View state data is going to be persisting. It is going to persisting by converting into another format by using an encryption mechanism that is called as base64 encoding format. Base64 encoding format. So now whatever the view state data is available, view state data is going to be protecting from the unauthorized people. If the content is visible in the actual format, other people can able to hack your data, other people can misutilize your data also. So in this case, to protect this data from the unauthorized people, now it is going to protecting the data by encrypting with the help of base64 encoding format. Okay. Now when you go to your Salesforce instance, we are having that facility. We can able to encrypt the data also over here. Okay, we can able to encrypt the data also by using that base64 encoding format. When you go to your Salesforce instance, we are having that classes are available. I think you are aware of those classes also. Now, for example, when you go to that encryption classes, we are having two classes are available in Salesforce basically. First one is encoding utility. Encoding utility dot base64 encoding format, base64 decoding format. We can encode the data. Whatever the usernames and the passwords are available, we can encoding into some another format, or we can decode the data back to the actual format also. For that one, we can use base64 encoding format. This is one of that algorithm here we can use for the encryption and the decryption mechanism. Okay. So now this encryption and the decryption mechanism basically is called as cryptography. This is called as cryptography here, which is having the capability to encrypt and decrypt the content. Now, like the similar way, instead of using this encoding utility, we can able to use the crypto class also. Crypto is a standard class which has been given by Salesforce, which is used to decrypt the content and which is used to encrypt the content also. We are using this cryptography facilities also with the help of the crypto class which has been given by Salesforce for the encryption of the content and to decrypt the content back to the actual format also. Okay, now, so now here in this case here, whatever the data has been stored inside that view state data will not be visible to you directly. That content is going to be converting into that base64 encoding format. It will be going into that base64 encoding format, so that even though when you try to look into the code, we can't see. Now let me show you that. So in this case, here inside this one, inside this HTML content, it is storing somewhere. We are having that hidden fields are available here. Let me search for that information. Type equals to hidden. Now, so here I'm having a matching content. So now input type equals to the hidden, and we are having the value. Let's see. So now inside the Gmail content here, it is having one hidden field. That means this is one of that view state object here. So it will be holding some content. Input type equals to hidden. That means this field will not be visible to you on the user interface. The field will be there inside the HTML content, but that will not be representing onto that user interface because it is a hidden field. So where the name of this field is at, which is having the value, which is the values available. Now tell me, are you able to understand this value over here? Will you able to decrypt this information? No, because this is a base64 encoding format. Okay, this is a base64 encoding format. So this base64 encoding format, we can't decrypt that information back. Okay, if you are encoding through by using that encoding utility class, then only we can decrypt that. So now when comes the Gmail people are going to be using the base64 encoding format, so which is going to be using based on a key, so that here it is going to be converting into some another format. So this is the content, but we can't understand what exactly the content over here. That means what? Even though your form data, your controller class variables, your objects and your fields information is storing behind the Visualforce page, so in the form of a view state, that data cannot be accessible by the other people. Because here, even though the people has hacked your information, they can't misutilize this information over here. because whatever the view state data is available, view state data will be encrypting into another format by using that base 64 encoding format. This is the internal concept using by the view state. Now, in this case, view state will be maintaining by the Salesforce for each and every page. Every page will be having its own view state. This page is having a separate view state. This page is having its own view state object. This page is having its own view state object. This state is also having view state object here. Now, in this case here, what are the confidential data that you have entered inside this particular application or inside this user interface? Now, the confidential data will be storing inside the view state, and then the data is going to be protecting by from the unauthorized people with the help of encrypting by using base 64 encoding formats. Okay, clear? Now, so now here in this case here, now here I have a small question. So now if it is a small application, then fine. If it is a banking systems, then what? If it is a banking systems, I'm entering my username, password, my account numbers, PIN numbers, and then I'm having like as my loan details, credit card details, everything is there. So whenever I'm making a request to the bank server, it is giving the response back to me in the form of HTML. There also, okay, you can able to see the user interface. If it is giving the view page source option, then hacker people can able to hack your view page source. They can go to that the wasted information. They will decode by using some different decoding utilities, and they can able to misutilize my data also over here. There is a chance. For that one here, bank people are going to be protecting your data from the unauthorized people. Let me show you practically here. Let's see. When coming to the banking people, what kind of encryption they are going to be using internally here. Whenever we are trying to be logging into that application over here. Now, so whenever we are going for any of the banking systems, it may be ICICI Bank, Axis Bank, any of the banking application, let's go to your banking application over there. Now go to that application, right click on that. It is indicating that message to you. So it is really indicating that right click has been completely disabled. That means you can't see that view page source. Even though we are able to make some request to that bank server, we can get the response also from that bank application, but we can't able to see that view sales, because here inside that view page source, it will be having all my data. My account details are available, loan details are available, credit card details are also available. Everything will be available inside the page source itself. To represent this whole content is available inside that HTML format. This kind of HTML format here. In this HTML format, the whole information will be available. My account number and the PIN number, amount details, because loan details, everything will be available inside that. In this case, if the hacker people are hacking this information, there is a chance to misutilize my data also. For that one, when you go to any banking system, because when you go to any banking system, they will be clearly indicating that right click has been disabled on your system here. So now when you click on this right click, it will be indicating that right click has been disabled. So it can't see that view page source, because to protect the information from the unauthorized people, so that other people can't see your view state information, so that here we can able to protect the data from the unauthorized people also. For that reason here, when coming to the view state, banking systems are going to be purely protecting the view state, okay, from the unauthorized people, so that the right click will be purely disabling on the secured applications, because banking systems, financial applications, like some pharmaceutical application, manufacturing applications, at that time they're purely disabling the right click options also. So we can't see that view page source, because we can protect the data from the unauthorized peoples as well. Okay. So now here in this case, when coming to that Salesforce instance, when coming to my Salesforce instance, I can able to see that a view state also over here. Okay, view state also. Let me show you how can we see that view state information. Whenever I'm going to be using this view state information, when coming to the Visualforce, for each and every page, Salesforce is maintaining a view state object, which will be holding my farm data, and then which will be holding my controller class variables, collections, objects. The whole information will be storing inside that view state. Then how much data can be stored inside the view state? View state is having the capability to store maximum of 135 KB of content. Okay, view state maximum size is 135 KB. It's a common question in every certification, that is PD1, platform developer 1, or it may be app builder also. It is a common question. In every PD1 certification, this question is a common question. What is the maximum size of view state? View state maximum size is 135 KB. Okay, view state maximum size is 135 KB. When you try to accommodate more content inside that view state, it won't allow. It will be raising an exception. View state maximum size has been exceeds. It will be raising an exception. View state maximum size has been exceeds. Immediately it will be terminating your Visual Force page. It will give the exception message to you in the technical terms. Okay, in the technical terms, it will be representing that exception message to you. Okay, now in this case, sir, we need to track. Okay, we need to track. Okay, which content is going to be occupying that more size, and we can able to eliminate that collection over here. Okay, we can able to eliminate that collection also. Okay, now, so now here in this case here, so now whatever the view state is available, okay, view state can able to hold maximum of 135 KB of content. Suppose, for example, come to a general scenario here. Assume that I'm having a Visual Force page. In this Visual Force page, I'm entering few characters here, like as UN. I'm searching for the content. Now, in this case, what data is available? When you go to my farm, I'm having some data. This is the variable is available here. When you go to my controller class, it is having that variable. This is the variable which will be having a collection also. This collection contains how many records? 4 records. These are the 4 records are holding inside my collection. This whole data will be storing inside the view state automatically by default here. Okay, this whole data, whatever the input value we have entered, whatever the records are available inside the collection collected from the object by using SQL query, the whole information will be storing inside that view state in the form of base 64 encoding format. Okay, in the form of base 64 encoding format. We can track that information also. Okay, we can track that information also. Now let's see how can we track this information here. Okay, now can I extend the session for 10 more minutes till 1:05 or 1:10? Okay, so that we can complete this topic here. Okay, now, so now here in this case, it's purely functional topic, not the technical topic here. It's a functional topic here, but this most important topic here. Now, so now whatever the input values we have entered inside my text boxes, what are the collections that have represented inside my controller class, what are the variables we have defined, what are the objects that we have defined, the whole information will be storing inside that view state. View state will be holding your farm data, your controller class variables, your collections, your objects, the whole information will be storing inside the view state in the form of base 64 encoding format, which is used to protect the data from the unauthorized people. It will be holding the data by encrypting into that base 64 encoding format. Now, in this case, how can we track this information? What data is there inside my view state? Whenever if you want to see the view state content, what it contains internally inside this, I want to track. For that one, we have to enable a small option here. We have to enable a small option called as show view state in development mode. Okay, show view state in development mode checkbox will be available to you. There is a checkbox called as show view state in development mode. Now then, where is this checkbox here? You know how to enable the development mode checkbox? Yes, below this the development mode checkbox, you will be having one more checkbox called as show view state in development mode checkbox. You will be having a checkbox called as show view state in development mode. Okay, now let me show you how can we enable it. Now tell me how many tabs are available on this tab bar now? 2 tabs. Okay, search accounts tab and then search accounts controller. 2 tabs are available. Let me enable the show view state in development mode checkbox. Go to the my settings. Go to the my settings. Go to the personal option in the left panel. Click on advanced user details link. Here you will be having a small checkbox called as show view state in development mode. Okay, below the development mode checkbox, we are having one more checkbox called as show view state in development mode checkbox. Now this checkbox is in disabled state right now. Please enable this checkbox now. Click on this edit button. Select that checkbox. Show view state in development mode checkbox. Now select the checkbox. Now click on save. Now, so let's go to your Visual Force page now. Refresh this user interface, observe what will happen. How many tabs are available on your tab bar now? 3 tabs. One more tab is available, that is called as view state. Okay, view state tab has been adding onto your tab bar. Now I'm searching for the content here. Same content. Search accounts. Now these 4 records are available. What are the input values we have entered? What are the records have been collected from the database, which has been stored inside the collection? The whole information will be storing inside that view state. So what is the maximum size of this view state now? 135 KB maximum, not more than that. Now click on this view state here. Go to the view state tab. Now let's see how much size it has occupied as of now. Now what is the maximum size it has occupied right now? 4.06 KB. Nothing but size in terms of KB only. In this 4.06 KB, what content has been stored? I want to know. Just to go to that search accounts page in the left side, expand this one. You will be having that state information. Go to the controllers. What are the controllers are available? We can able to see the controllers information also. Expand these controllers. What is the controller name that we have? Search accounts controller is available. In this controller, what we have? A variable is available, a collection is available. In this variable, what data is available? UN percentage. To store this one, how much memory it has occupied? 0.17 KB. Now inside the collection, this is the collection and list the account, which is having how many records? 4 records are available over here as a result. This is of type what? List of account. To store this 4 records, how much memory it has occupied? 0.96 KB. In this 4, nothing but in this 0.96 KB, what records has been stored? I want to know. Expand this particular collection name. Once you expand the collection name, we can able to see this records information. Now it is having 0, 1, 2, 3. What is the 0, 1, 2, 3 in this case here? Index position. This is a practical proof that list collection is maintaining the index starting from 0. List collection is purely maintaining the index positions to identify each and every element, which will be starting from the 0. This is the practical proof. So now this is having 4 records. First account record, second record, third record, fourth record will be available over here. Now first record to occupied nothing but to store that first record information 0.41 KB of memory. For the second record 0.49, third record 0.4, fourth record 0.4. Why it is different memory here? All are account records only. Values, okay, values. For some fields, values may not be available. If the value is available, then only it will be allocating the memory. That's what I told you. Depends upon the values which are entered, memory will be allocated. That means it is a practical proof to show that yes, subject types are purely supporting dynamic memory allocation. Even though all are 4 account records, same amount of memory will not be allocated. Depends upon the values which you have entered. Depends upon the fields for whom we have supplied the values. It will be calculating the memory dynamically at runtime. That much of memory will be getting allocated over here. So now inside this first record, 0 size, nothing but first record. In this record, what values are available? Expand this one. We can see the record information. These are record ID value, name value, rating value, industry, active status, phone number, fax number, website, type, and the ownership. These are the values are available. In the second record, go to that first, nothing but second index position. Now we can see that values information. When you go to the third record, we can see that values information. When you go to that fourth record, you can see that values information also. That means each and every information we can able to track with the help of the view state. So now view state contains what? View state contains all your form data. What are the data we have entered inside the form, and what are the variables we have defined inside the controller classes, what are the collections we have defined, what are the objects we have defined. This whole information will be storing inside that view state in the form of base64 encoding format. Now the view state is going to persisting the data between the post-back implementation, which can able to hold maximum of 135 KB of content here, not more than that. Okay, clear? Now, so in this case, suppose for example here, If I'm storing huge data inside my view state, okay, if I'm storing some huge data inside my view state, which will be expecting more size, nothing but more than 135 KB. At that time, that content cannot be accommodatable inside that view state. So at that time, it is raising an exception. View state maximum size has been exceeds, which will be terminating your Visual Force page. It will be giving this error message in the technical terms. Now, in this case, how can we handle this? I'm having some 5 collections are there. So all the 5 collections data is storing inside the view state. From those collections, one collection is going to be occupying more size. Okay, which is occupying more size. Because of that view state size is exceeding, then what we can do? For example, come to a general scenario. I'm having a lift. Okay, I'm having a lift. My lift capacity is to accommodate maximum of some 5 people. It's a small lift. I'm having some, we can able to accommodate 5 people. That capacity is maximum of some 400 kilos for that lift. Okay. Today, I'm coming into that lift. I have entered into the lift. Along with me, already 3 people are available. Totally 4 people with me. One more person also has been entered. Totally 5 people are there here. Now one more person has been entered. Okay, a very big fat person has entered. Okay. Now, so now whenever he's entering into that lift, it is giving like as overload. Okay, it is giving like as overload. Lift can't work. Then what we can do? We are going to requesting the people, boss, please go outside so that we can go to that upstairs. Then after that, we can able to use that lift. That means what? The whatever the fat person is there, we are going to be eliminating that person from the lift. Like the similar way here also, whatever the collections are available, which are going to be storing inside the view state, from that collection, we need to identify which collection is occupying more size. We are going to be eliminating that collection from the view state over here. Then how can we eliminate? We need to inform to the Visual Force page. So now this is the collection which is holding more records, which contains more records, which is occupying more size inside my view state. Because of that view state size is exceeding, I'm unable to see my page. So please don't allow this collection to store inside the view state. I want to inform to my Visual Force page, please don't store this collection inside my view state. Then how can we inform to the Visual Force page, this is the collection which is occupying more size. How can we track the size? At that time, we have to come to this particular search mechanism here, view state mechanism. Here we have to identify what collections are available. From this collection, which collection is occupying more size, we have to inform to the Visual Force page, this is the collection name which is occupying more size. So please don't store inside that collection, inside that view state. Then how can we inform to the Visual Force page? For that one, whatever the collection is available, which is occupying more size, just to define that collection with the help of a keyword called as transient. Okay, by indicating that collection with the name transient. Whenever I'm defining the collection with the word transient, the transient keyword is informing to the Visual Force page, this is the collection which will be occupying more size. So please don't store this collection data inside the view state here. Okay, what are the collections we have defined with the keyword transient, those collection data will not be storing inside the view state. If the collection is not storing inside the view state, then view state size will not exceed. If the size is not exceeding, the page will run as it is. I can see the result also. For that reason here, what are the collections are occupying more size, those collections we are defining with the help of a keyword called as transient keyword. So now the collections which has been defined with the help of transient keyword, those collection data will not be storing inside that view state. Okay, clear? Now, understood the concept? Now let's see how can we make it as transient over here. Now as of now, what is that view state size right now here? 4506 KB. Now here we are having that the collection is also there. We are having that variable is also there. Now I am going to be indicating this collection as transient. How can we make this collection as transient? Simply go to that collection, public, I'm indicating like as transient. That's it. Okay, public transient. Now list of account. Okay, list of account. So now here I'm indicating. Okay, I'm indicating that public transient list of account. That means this is the collection which will be occupying that more size inside the view state. Because of that, I'm facing that view state exception. So please don't allow this collection inside the view state. So in this case, I'm defining the collection with the keyword transient. Now, so let me search for the content right now over here. Let me save this content. Now, I'm searching for the data. Same 4 records will be getting visible to you. Now let's go to the view state now. What is the size now? 3.43. Previously 4.06 KB. That means now the size has been reduced. Why? That collection are eliminated from that view state. So not just to go to your view state size right now. Go to that state, go to the controllers. You will be having the controller name. When you expand that, what we have? Only variable. Where is the collection? Collection data is not persisting inside that view state. Okay, so whatever the collections are available which are occupying more size, those collections we can eliminate from the view state so that we can avoid the view state exceptions also. That facility is available. For that one, we are defining those collections with the help of a keyword called as transient keyword. What are the collections you are defining with the help of the transient keyword? This collection data will not be persisting inside the view state view, so that it won't occupy more size, it won't cross that view state size, so we can able to run the application as it is without any disturbance. Okay, clear? This is how we can able to track that view state information inside your Visualforce programming. Okay, clear? That's what here from the beginning. Okay, that's what from the beginning I'm keep on telling you. Okay, whenever we are going to be collecting the data, okay, collecting the data by using the desirable queries, don't fetch the unnecessary columns information. Why? Because if I'm collecting this unnecessary columns information, definitely this data will be storing inside the collection, right? Again, this collection will be going into the view state, right? It is occupying some size right inside that. If the size is exceeding, it will be raising an exception to you. That's what here as a best practice. Okay, as a best practice, don't fetch the unnecessary columns information from your object here. Okay, don't fetch the unnecessary columns information. What are the columns information is required for you? Please fetch only those columns information inside your SO cable queries. Okay, this is one of the best practice. Second best practice, whenever you are defining any member, it may be a variable, it may be a collection, it may be an object as a static. Okay, as a static members will not be storing inside the view state. Okay, whenever you are defining any static members like a static variable, static collection, static objects, those static members will not be storing inside the view state. So it will not be accommodating. It will not be accommodating inside the view state, which won't occupy any memory from that view state, so that we can avoid the view state exceptions also. Okay. Now, after that, so whenever we are going to be storing the information, don't store the same data repeatedly in the multiple collections. Whatever the data that we are collecting from the database, don't store the same data repeatedly in the multiple collections, because even though the same data is in the multiple collections, all these collections will be storing inside the view state, which will occupy the more size. Because of that, it will be raising the view state exceptions. For that reason, don't store the duplicate data in the multiple collections. That is one of the best practice. Next one, after that, whenever we are going to be designing a Visualforce page, if possible, instead of using this Visualforce page tags, use your HTML tags. HTML tags are purely client side, which are not occupying any size inside your view state, so that we can able to avoid that view state exceptions also. Okay, in order to avoid the view state exceptions, we are having some best practices. First one is identify the collection which is occupying more size, make those collections as transient. Second one, define some numbers with static numbers will not be storing inside that view state. Third one, okay, don't fetch the unnecessary columns information from your object. Please fetch only those required columns information which you are using inside your application. Fourth one, don't store that same data again and again and again in the multiple collections, because it will be increasing that view state size. Fifth one, use your HTML tags instead of using the Visualforce tags, so that we can able to maintain purely client side. Client side will not be occupying any view state over here. These are the 5 best practices we can able to follow, okay, in order to avoid the view state exceptions. Okay, clear? So this is the concept of view state. Okay, it's not programmatical, purely the like as functional part over here as part of this. Okay, clear? Now, each and every information have documented inside your hard copy. You are having the development book is available. Inside that one, every point have documented clearly along with the screenshots also. When coming to the view state, how can we enable the view state? The whole information have documented clearly along with the best practices also inside. This is a common question in every interview here. because it's a common problem also where the people are facing in the real-time implementations. Now in this case here we are using the collections. Only the collections we are making it as a transient. If it is a variable, no need to make the variable transient, because here variable will not be occupying much size. So the collections we can make it as transient. Okay, no, not the variables, because variable occupying very small size, so that is not sufficient, that is not a matter. If it is a collection which will be holding some millions of records also, at that time it will be increasing that view state size. Okay. Clear? Understood the concept here? No. Do the practice on this one today.